Welcome back to Homes with Joan. Thanks for joining us today. I'm super excited about our show today. We're going to be talking about brokerages and what a broker actually does. So that's what our topic is going to be today. I've been asked multiple times by family, friends, people in the community, why do you work for a broker, and what is a brokerage? Really, it's one of the key components to us purchasing or selling in our real estate market here in our community. So today, I actually have the owner and broker of National Realty Centers, Craig Lesco, and I've also got the pleasure of introducing Dennis Weese. He's an associate broker for National Realty Centers, and we're going to kind of delve into what actually a broker does, the responsibilities of a real estate agent over a broker, associate broker. You normally don't hear about brokers, but it is a key component to what it is. So. Craig, let's start with you. What is the difference between an agent and a broker, and why do I need you?
Well, first of all, thanks for inviting us
Sure,
to be a
sure.
part of this. This is exciting. But
Yeah.
well, by law, you have to work for a broker.
Yeah.
So that would be the first thing. But as far as our role as a broker and an associate broker, we represent you and all your clients, whether they're buyers, sellers, landlords, or tenants. We oversee the entire transaction from start to finish.
And what made you become a broker?
Well, originally I got my license. I wanted to be a landlord.
Oh,
So,
you did?
yeah, I
Oh,
thought it would be my life dream to have a bunch of rentals. I did that, and it turned out it was not my life dream.
okay.
But kind of going from a traditional brokerage, then to Remax, and then to Keller Williams, kind of led me. I was with like three different business models, if you would, and then it became very clear to me that I wanted to do this, and that was back. Actually, gosh, now it's been over 18 years ago since I made
Oh,
the decision to do that.
okay.
But going back to 2007 when I originally opened, it was to help you and Dennis, to help agents kind of get through and to just kind of refresh your memory. Back in '07, that was about the worst real estate market there was. So as far as timing with opening a new business, it might not have been the best time. But in my mind, it was the perfect time because real estate agents, the number of units was at an all-time low. The average sales price was an all-time low. So agents were struggling. Their income really, really dramatically went down. So hence I came up with National Realty Centers and our business model. And actually on March 5th of next month, it'll be 16 years. Will be our
Congratulations.
anniversary. Yeah.
That's
Yeah.
amazing.
It's been a lot of fun.
Truly amazing. So, Craig, what brought you into the to this National Realty Centers and doing what it is you're doing?
Well, my name is Dennis Weese, and I'm the associate broker office manager for National Realty Centers. And basically, why I got my broker's license was because we worked with Remax at that particular time, and there was this. They had thought that they called it one license law, and they were going to do away with the salesperson, and you had to have a broker's license to sell real estate. So I always like to be a person that gets ahead of the curve. So I went ahead and me and Craig both got our broker's license at the same time. Mine was basically to go and to further my education and to give myself some options. So I didn't really use it until 13 years ago when Craig asked me to come help him at National Realty Centers and be kind of an extension of who he is and help the agents out. I went ahead and went into that position, and that's when the broker's license really kicked in for me. And all those years before that I had made that decision, it really helped me out a lot to be where I'm at today at this point.
Yeah, so it's a broker for me personally as an agent. They may get calls at 6 o'clock in the morning
Yeah.
or 10 o'clock at night because in part of my sales part of what I'm doing, I may need that extra assistance. I need it a lot because I think you really need to have that strong team behind you as you're working through the real estate sales piece. So once again, I have to work under a broker. Every real estate agent has to have a brokerage that they're assigned to. You cannot work as a real estate
No.
agent without a broker. Myself as a real estate agent can can pick and choose who that brokerage is. And if you really have a strong agent that cares about their reputation and the work that they do, one of the main things that you're going to want to do is make sure that the brokerage you're working with has good support, that they're there for you 24 hours a day, which I have to say with experience, National Realty Centers has been that for me. I also was a transaction coordinator before I was an agent, and I also worked with Keller Williams as well as Remax. And so I've had a little bit of experiences of different brokerages and how they work. But in all honesty, National Realty Centers has 4 offices. Craig, where are the 4 offices with National?
Ann Arbor, Birmingham, here in Clarkston, and Northville.
Yeah. I don't know if I mentioned that we are in our Clarkston office here today. This is the northern piece of your puzzle. But really the wide range and the homes that are within the brokerage gives us amazing amount of support. As Carrie and I have said in our previous shows with you, how important it is to work with a brokerage that has that background support to what it is us agents do. So, Dennis, can you tell us a little bit about the brokerage? Just a little bit about why National Realty Centers may stand out above another one?
Well, one of the things that Craig did, and I totally agreed with, is we've been in 4 offices together. And when he opened this office, National Realty Centers, and started this brokerage, he took all the good things that he learned from the brokerages that he had been in before. And we kind of got rid of all the junk, the stuff that we didn't like. And one thing that is different from every other brokerage that you're ever going to see is that most brokerages, when you start there, the money always goes up. In other words, your costs as an agent usually go up. And Craig just flipped the script on that. And actually, when we started, it was $750 a transaction. And now it's down to $495 a transaction. And what we're trying to do is we're trying to make the agents successful, because we realize, like Zig Ziglar used to say, that if you want to be successful, you make other people successful, then you will become successful also. So that's really one of the key pieces. But as Joan has said, the support that we even get from the agents there. I mean, there's so much knowledge. I think we have between 15 and 16 years of experience with the agents there, and that's basically that's with almost 600 agents, or around 600 agents at the 4 offices. So we think that's a great thing too, that we have mature, experienced agents at National Realty Centers.
I actually looked that up last night because I knew we were doing this, and we had 568 agents with on average 15.85 years of experience.
Amazing.
And to put that into context, the national average amongst 1.6 million members of the National Association of Realtors is 8 years. So we're double the average in experience, and we're almost double the average in units per year per agent. So, which is really neat.
Yeah, Craig, that just goes to show that your model is working. You have very strong, qualified people that you represent. I mean, we represent them together.
Right.
Everything that I talk about has National Realty Centers on it, because I'm very proud, number one, to be a part of this team, but also to be a part of, the largest brokerage in southeastern Michigan. So when we return, we're going to talk about the different types of brokerages there are. There's multiple different kinds, and Craig and Dennis are going to let us know what those are. Well, thanks for coming back with us. We are this segment. We're going to be talking about the different types of brokerages there are. We talked about why an agent needs a broker. Now we're going to be talking about the different types of brokerages there are, the pros and cons of each one. Of course, I'm going to be the pro on an independent brokerage, which we'll talk a little bit further down the road. So Clarkston being your newest office with a brokerage, you can set up your business here wherever you want in Southeast Michigan, correct?
Correct.
Right. As that, we're an independent broker, but there's two others. There's a franchise brokerage, which a lot of you probably would know as a Remax, Century 21, Keller Williams. No, yeah, Keller Williams. Those are the big names. You see those signs up all over the place, and those are what would be called a franchise broker. So you want to delve down into a little bit what a franchise brokerage is?
Well, franchise brokerage, your traditional big box brokerage that's been around forever, probably. Century 21 was the biggest one back in the 70s. If you didn't have your gold jacket, you weren't in real estate. But since then, there's been other models. Dennis touched on Remax a little bit, to where you have your traditional model. Remax came along and kind of disrupted things a little bit back in the mid to late 70s. And then Keller Williams came along, who's still a franchise, but was kind of a hybrid between your traditional brokerage and Remax. And then since then, just to kind of jump into the next type of brokerage, now we're seeing cloud-based brokerages, and EXP is probably the biggest example of that, to where they don't have a Clarkston office like this. It's literally no brick and mortar, everything's online, everybody's working from home. So it's a little bit different concept, and it obviously works for some agents, but not for all. Everybody's different, but National Realty Centers is an independent brokerage. And one of the things that I looked up the other day is that, kind of going back to the 70s with Century 21, 95% of all the realtors across the country were with franchise brokers. Now, according to the National Association of Realtors 2022 members profile, 54% of agents, and again, that's 54 of 1.6 million, are now with independent brokerages. And they're going to the independent brokerages in a lot of cases because it's a lot less money. You're not paying the franchise fees with an independent. You're not paying the desk fees and all the additional fees that go along with it. And technology is what's really leveled the playing field and allowed an independent brokerage like us to grow and thrive, because technology is just so readily available now and affordable. So we're able to keep our costs low, which allows us to, in my opinion, offer the most agent-friendly commission schedule around. So.
Well, that's proven. I mean, that's fact. So you can't mess with the numbers. They come out the same. No, numbers don't lie. Right. And so that being said, me as an agent can speak to how I want my charges to go back down into the client. What it would cost them on closing fees to use me. There's brokerage fees, like you had mentioned. There's all sorts of actual fees that go along with an agent, and they can transfer that onto their client, or they can not. And Craig offers us that ability to determine what some of those fees may be. So being independent really helps an agent, as well as if you're a client of one of ours, that you could see some lower cost when you're shopping around for that agent. Dennis, so we've seen these signs come and go, right? I mean, what makes a brokerage fall apart? Like what would make like Century 21 isn't as big as what it used to be. Keller Williams really became the big guy in town. How do those types of things happen?
Well, basically what's happened is that, and I had said this like 10 years ago when I started to see a decline with Century 21, they weren't really investing in technology and the latest and greatest, things that were going on. They didn't see it coming like Craig seen it coming in 2007. Let's face it, real estate was selling great for everybody up until that point, and then all of a sudden around 2007, 2008, it just went down. And what Century 21 got stuck with was they were doing real estate the same way they always did real estate since the 70s. Like Craig said, with the gold jackets, they were kind of stuck in their ways, and they didn't offer the benefits of technology to their agents. And basically, they had all these big, brick and mortar buildings, and it costs a lot of money to maintain those. And with technology, what's happened now is you don't need those brick and mortar buildings anymore. Now, we have the best of both worlds, I believe, in our independent franchise. We have brick and mortar buildings, but they're very, I don't want to say they're small because they're not small, but they're just modest. They're very, just the perfect size that the agents can come in and they can do their work if they want to. And we have some agents that come in every day almost, okay? But today you have a lot of agents that I see maybe once every 6 months or 4 months, and they only come in when they need to. So I believe that National Realty Centers offers the best of both worlds, whereas if you want to come in and you want to be attached to a brick and mortar building, you can, but if you want to be independent and do your thing and you don't need it, you have that also. But I think the main thing what you're seeing is, and you're going to see this as we go along, is the brick and mortar buildings are, brokerages are going to start to have less and less influence in because they got to keep their prices higher because they got to take care of all this maintenance on these brick and mortar buildings that they have.
Sure.
And one of the other things that I would just touch on with regards to that is, again, going back to the National Association of Realtors, they do a home buyer, home seller profile every year.
Oh.
And I've been tracking that now for over 20 years, and year after year after year, home buyers and sellers are not choosing the big box franchise brokers anymore. They're choosing Joan.
Mm-hmm.
They're choosing Joan because they know her, like her, and trust her.
Mm-hmm.
So if somebody's not waking up and saying, hey, I want to sell my house, I need somebody with a gold jacket, they're calling Joan, they're calling Dennis,
Mm-hmm.
they're calling somebody that they know, like, and trust that is kind of within their circle. Mm-hmm. So they're not looking for that name brand, they're looking to work with you.
Yeah,
and I think that's why it's flipped. It's 54% now are with independents, and I just think that's going to continue to grow.
And we've learned that throughout our careers. It's about relationships. It's about how you get the job done. There's how many did you say of us agents out there?
1.6 million.
1.6 million. Okay, well, I'm the best of those, but and the reason is because I'm with these guys. It's not because of me. It's because, once again, of that amazing support that I have. If it's walking in the office and having that friendly, smiling face of an admin person supporting me throughout the transactions, to have that phone call to say, hey, this is what I need, where can I get it? And an instant response. You guys, I don't wait for anyone. If it's not right here in my Clarkson office, I can call, any one of the office support people, and everything because of your technology. And I have to say, Craig is like number one. I think he's kind of a geek when it comes to technology and number. Yeah. And it's really easy for me. Yeah. So the amount of extra time I need with something, he has it. It's the forms are there. Everything is there, which really resonates back down into the clients. And the ease of my job allows me to do what I'm hopefully good at, and that is in the buying and selling world. I don't want to try to be good at everything that they are, but they support that need for you, our client, at the end of the day, to have that transaction be smooth and comfortable, and knowing that you're in good hands with, not to use the Allstate lingo, but that you're in good National Realty hands, because we all truly care about one another and we're there for each other. So what we're going to talk about a little bit next is a little bit further down our support world, but also Craig, because he is a geek and we like him, he's going to give us just maybe towards the end a little bit about our forecast in the 2023, what the market may be looking at and what we're going to be moving into as the year progresses. We'll be right back. All right, well, let's get right at it. We're going to just finish up a little bit about really not just the support personally, but the actual legitimate support that we as National Realty Center agents receive. our technology is top notch. It's super easy. Craig has been in this for so long that he's made the process of either writing an offer,
Keep it simple.
yeah, keep it simple, and if it's something I don't know, he also has amazing tutorials on every form, how to use it, when to use it. So if you're stuck at 9 o'clock at night and you're like, I don't know what this means, we can easily, as an agent, bop right into a tutorial. Craig's very concise, has every answer to what that box means and how we need to understand what it is we need to put in there. So honestly, that is an amazing help, as well as a support to you, the client, because there won't be a question on my side as to how do you fill this form out, why do I need this form. It's just phenomenal. Along with Craig gives us Zoom meetings every week, so we're always hearing what is happening in the industry. If it's regarding mortgages, we have other colleagues that join us to help us understand what's happening in the mortgage rates. Last week we talked about probate. So my education as an agent has grown substantially because of what Craig has put together in educating his agents so we can be the best that we can be when we're working for you. So once again, it's not just about me as the agent, but it's all this background that you guys never really see, but it's something that's super important to a real estate agent as they continue their, serving you. The other things is like if there's scams that are coming up, or we had a big issue with some wire fraud things, and so we as agents always need to be up to date with anything that's happening in the industry that will service you, our clients. And that is one thing both Craig and Dennis give us all the time. We have superb marketing abilities. We have an awesome support team when it comes to marketing and helping you feel good about what it is you're putting out, if it's just to edit your piece or just to talk to people about what those opportunities are. So I don't know if there's anything else you'd like to speak about the support you give us as agents. You don't find that out there, and that's why our independence brokerage is so...
Well, you had asked the question before, like, what is our role as a broker?
Yeah.
So obviously it's to represent you and your clients, but it's kind of like when you own a restaurant, you're the cook, you're the busboy, you're the waiter.
Yeah.
So it's not just the contracts and negotiating and writing them, it's the marketing, and in a lot of ways I think of myself more as a teacher, because we need to teach you so that you then can teach your clients, especially with the industry we're in, whether it's on the mortgage side, the real estate side. Things are changing. And in these last couple of years, things have been changing very quickly. So it's important to keep you educated so you can keep your clients educated at the same time.
Yeah, I always say, knowledge is key. And that's why I think I suit so well with this group of people, because it's really about a caring concern about you, our clients, understanding this market, and if I'm not educated, then how can I be a good service to you? And I know, Dennis, you have that same belief. Dennis is the person I call and can answer basically any question I've ever had. I called him Sunday morning about a escrow holding back, and so he's there and always is willing to share his experience. And you don't always have that, just texting someone and waiting for an answer, or emailing someone and waiting for an answer. That just doesn't resonate here.
In this business, you need the answer now.
Yeah.
Because it typically can't wait.
Right. One thing I think is taken for granted sometimes too is that Craig sends out emails with videos in them. So like myself, I like things that I can look at, not just something I can necessarily read, and maybe it's from schooling, I always like something that they could show me visually instead of just read it. And what I like about the videos that he sends out, everything that's of real importance has a video attached to it, and you get to listen to it, and then of course you can listen to it as many times as you need to, and it just gives us that. I've not known any other brokerage that does that all the time, and that's something that I don't think a lot of times it's something that gets lost in the shuffle, but I think it's very important educating the agents on all the important things that are going on in the world today, like wire fraud and things like that.
Oh my goodness, yeah. And those videos I go back to all the time, and I might not have experienced it in a scenario, but even me hearing about it will help feed me for future if I were to come up
learn from others.
yeah come across it, so it's so invaluable, and to take the time, and Craig isn't fat. I mean, he doesn't add a lot of juice to anything. It's really straightforward. It's this and that, and it's a short, quick, usually 2 to 3 minute video.
Well, it's nice
so it's
for me.
concise.
Yeah, it's nice for me because then I can talk to 600 people all at one time, and then they can all watch it when it's convenient for them.
Yeah, and that
Getting
sometimes
realtors together is like herding cats sometimes.
Well, we get it, because lots of times, like even last week on the Zoom, it was about probate. Man, do I want to learn a lot more about probate than I've already had experience with. I was busy, and now I can, hear it, and, if I have any questions, reach out.
Yeah.
So, thank you, Craig and Dennis, for both of that.
Thank you.
Security that you give me as I'm helping support our clients. It means a lot to us.
Well, that's what we're here for. Yeah. It's here to help.
Well, it's proven. The next step Craig has always offered for us is, the little bit of the forecast. So, I mean, we are kind of in some ups and downs. What do you think about 2023? What's it going to bring, do you think?
I think it's going to bring, we're going to sell 11,000 homes across the country every single day. So the market is obviously shifting from a seller's market to a buyer's market. But, if you're a buyer out there right now thinking about purchasing a home, I do think it's a good market to do that in. Obviously, interest rates are up, but it's not as competitive right now. We're not seeing 10 offers over a weekend on a house. Buyers don't have to waive their inspections. They don't have to offer non-refundable EMDs. It's more of a traditional market where they can take their time, kind of collect themselves, put in an offer, and negotiate. It's a little bit more of a level playing field right now for buyers. Not to mention, there's a lot of different programs right now to bring the interest rates down, whether it's just buying some points or a 2-1 buy down will allow the buyers to get that interest rate a little bit lower. And then on the seller side, we hear a lot of doom and gloom out there in the media about how home values have gone down, and that's just not true.
Yeah, we haven't seen it. Yeah.
Yeah, well, over the last 2 years, it's been 19% in Metro Detroit. So if sellers are out there thinking that I missed the boat, you really didn't. Your home is appreciated about 19%, give or take, depending on obviously where you live in Metro Detroit. But then the other thing is you don't have that stress because now you can sell your house and you can go out and find another one, and you're not competing with all the piranha that just were eating all the homes up. So it's definitely a good market for both buyers and sellers, and I think it's going to be a really fun year.
Yeah, I haven't slowed down, which I think is good. I think that there's still buyers out there, there's still sellers out there, and the people who really understand the market and can see this and not listen to the craziness of the media at times that want to make the doom and gloom happen to all of us tomorrow. We're still seeing a really solid market.
Yes.
You think so, Chris? I mean, Dennis?
Yeah, I think I agree wholeheartedly with what Craig said. And we're going to have more of what I call a level market because the agents always ask us for predictions on what's going to happen, And what I see as a more level market, whenever it's a seller's market, then the buyers are suffering. Whenever it's a buyer's market, the sellers are suffering, and then the agents are suffering too, to a degree. When we have a nice balanced market, if we can get to that, then pretty much it's fair for everybody. It's easier, there's some pros and cons. The sellers aren't getting as much money for the property, but as Craig said, they're not having to, go out, sell their house and then go out and have to find one in 2 weeks, So sometimes, a little less money and not having to do those kind of hard things to me is a benefit. And that's how I look at it. But I've been in this thing for a while, and I do believe that a level market is the best market that you could be in, and that's what I see for 2023 and 2024.
Well, thank you both once again for sharing National
Oh,
Realty
thank
Center
you.
with our group of onlookers. I appreciate you taking the time today with us. And remember, I always believe in you should feel confident when you buy and sell in today's market. And give us a call. I'm always available for any questions for you. Call Homes with Joan. Thank you so very much.